It's about the weekly sessions that you run.
Well, on Wednesday around 11 o'clock, I do a session for people who are interested in photography, but mainly not about being technical. It's about people who are taking random photos with their mobile phone. And often I say that we take photos and we take snapshots and we keep it on our mobile, but you know, we never kind of share it with anyone. And you know, so you know, the mobile phone gets blocked up with all these photos. So, and during the coronavirus, it's something that I say with photography, it's a great point of having a conversation with someone, and it can awaken in someone who can share a photo, something that they never told anyone, or you know, maybe perhaps the family is not interested in.
Well, I've been to your sessions, Claudine. One of the things I noticed, a couple of things. One is your passion for it, but also how you bring heart and feeling into it. It's not a mechanical process, it's a feeling process.
Yeah, well, my passion in the first place, why I'm doing this program, is also because I have a passion for people. And I like to have people doing something great that they perhaps never done before. And even, you know, sometimes we do have a little bit of fear to be judged, you know, if we would share it. So this is really an environment where they can be safe. Well, everything is confidential. Also, what is great is that people coming on these sessions, they will find a new tribe and new people as strangers, and they become very good friends at the end, which is wonderful. It is also good because photography, going out, is also part of our well-being, you know. So the more we practice, the more we are going to see the little things, and it can evaluate, you know, what in our own lives, you know. So the more what we see, the better for us.
I really loved how through coronavirus, you know, people were in isolation, and you really helped bring out, even though you're home, there are things within your home to look at differently or to conjure different feelings. So to support people through that time in isolation. So being able to see some things that may be feeling good for them. And I really love that, even like with the cup. We were taking a photo of cups and then all the different angles. And it really, you know, as well as that appreciation for that, I know for me, it was like a mindfulness activity. Like it was really beautiful to see, you know, for that moment, all your worries weren't with you. It was all about the cup. And that was that beautiful start to the sessions that you brought. So and you know, now I suppose going out into nature, it's even, you know, even broader than that.
And also, you know, what brings out, this is why I say during the coronavirus, I got I don't know what I'm going to take as a photograph, what is there. Because sometimes taking photos is like we think automatically about traveling, you know, the more exotic places. And yes, photographers like me, we do go out and explore. But where I say, I recently had somebody asking me, how do I start taking photos and where do I go? And I said, well, you just go into a field of nothing and just take 10 shots. And they say, well, there's nothing. You will be surprised what you can do as 10 photos in a field of nothing. And this is also where I say, you know, good photography starts in the home. And this is where it started for me, really. My love and passion for photography started already when I was 8 years old. So all the way through my careers, and I had different careers, from being a podiatrist is my profession, and then I went into tour guiding. So I was traveling already. So my camera went everywhere with me. And then from there, I worked in public relations and motorsport. So my passion came there, but also that is also where it all began, because in the public relation I was in, I had to deal with lots of photographers. So I learned from the best. So this is where it all began, and then coming to Australia, getting married, and unfortunately in 2011, I went through breast cancer. And I remember coming from my surgery as having a mastectomy, and my husband was driving me through my neighborhood. And it was the first time when I sort of took a breath and said to my husband, we are living in an absolutely beautiful area. And this is where, when my surgeon was providing and saying, you should do meditation. And meditation, well, I'm a very active person. So don't send me to yoga, or don't send me to activities where I have to be very still. But that's when I took my camera again, because when you take and you focus with the camera and you going through the lens, this is where I have my meditation. That's when I get into the zone. And this is something I want to really express and teach people, that photography is when you take photographs with the soul, you will have a perfect picture. And sometimes the perfect picture that you think it's not good enough can be turned into a great picture. It's all about having the skills. And so this is what I like to share. And I like to share that, without somebody paying, because, I learned myself. I learned, from my photography, I learned to edit. So I went on all these courses, but often, you don't get the tips for free or anything. And I think, why not sharing all what I know? And if they take one thing out of that, I will be happy, because that's why I'm here and giving my time.
So it's
well, as you can see, Trisha and I have both gained a lot from your courses, your tips and sessions, because the idea of moving around, I now recognize that until you said about moving around, that I would see something and stand still and then take it. And now I tend to move, even with those flowers, I tended to move around. And the other part of it was this idea of, sensing that there's more to something than there is. That idea of, being with the feelings, being with the heart, and using the heart in terms of seeing something and taking a photo of it. So it's certainly taken the mechanical aspect of photograph taking for me and made it more meaningful. So thank you, Claudine, for that.
Well, but also what the beauty is, and we don't often think about it, but when we take photographs, it's also about using all your senses. And so this is also a way of practicing your senses that will help you implementing it with whatever you want to do in life. Is about, having that feeling. It's about, developing those senses that you can use in your normal life. For example, if I look at, let's say I walk out and I see this beautiful bunch of a bush with flowers on, it all comes, taking that photo is also the sense of where I am, what is the day, what is the temperature, is it cool, is it misty, is it, it's all that senses that awakens me to take that photo, to have, seeing the colors, the beautiful colors, that brightens your day, and then, and then also being, I love taking photos very much in detail, how is this flower, how did it come to life, that is the interesting thing. It's about, starting to develop, knowing the sources, where it started, where it's, what is the process, and we can all implement that all in our own life unconsciously.
Certainly a beautiful way of making moments really special, and I love it when you express like that, and it makes, okay, it's a flower, but just then there was so much more, and that beautiful appreciation, and so that's what it brings, and I can really feel that comes through in your sessions. So it really makes it a very passionate and uplifting type of experience, because it helped me to realize there's so much more in that moment, and how to really bring that out, and that's what makes something memorable. And so that's something lovely to grow in your capacity to appreciate the small things. So comes through beautifully.
Yeah, and especially also when we are taking photos of our families, our grandchildren. I often say it's not about the staged photographs, it's actually about, like you just said, it's capturing that moment. Because when we are looking back to these photos, even when it's in a year's time, suddenly you will remember very well what was happening at that moment. When you do staged photos, well, it's a staged photo. It's like a snapshot, but it doesn't have the meaning so much. But I always say, just be free, take the photo, take the moment. I was only talking this morning about it. I went to the gym and took my beautiful Bernese mountain dog, Phelan, for a walk. And there's a reservoir not far away from my home. And when we end up there, and because now with winter, the rain and the creek has filled up. So there's a place in the reservoir, and it has all the little waterfowls, but Phelan loves going into the water, but he doesn't like to have his bum wet. So he was doing like a yoga pose, and I wish I had my camera at that moment, because it was like the yoga dog, so, and that is a fun moment, and this is sort of the moments that we have to capture. So, and it's important.
Well, Claudine, we're very grateful, and it's a wonderful session. So if anyone has, an interest in photography, or just, it's a beautiful way of expressing and developing some new ways of seeing and feeling. So it's lovely that you bring that session, and we'll certainly share some other things that you're up to as well in the area of photography and the other things that you're doing.